These are player piano rolls that are typically found at garage sales and auction sales. Many are ripped, torn, missing roll ends and leaders. This is why I wanted to start salvaging some of these old gems. Old rolls with strings punched through the leader on a roll is a sure sign that this was an often played roll. I made this roll mender from an orphaned player action and took the spool box and modified it a little bit, making it about 24 inches long, adding a longer drive chain and with a crank on the bottom spool to take up the roll when it's crossing over the bed. This particular roll got damaged by allowing it to roll on after the end of the song, and it pulled the paper off the cardboard spindle. So when this happens, needless to say, the roll won't rewind and put it back on the top spindle after the song has been played. So I carefully either crank the roll through or move it forward by grabbing the flanges on the bottom roll and advancing the paper. This particular roll had the roll tore off the cardboard spool in the roll and needs to be refastened, but more importantly it needs to be fastened in the correct position so that it rolls properly in use afterwards. The top portion had got ripped a little bit. I made a template that is square on one end and tapered the same as the original taper on the rolls to either add a new tab if necessary or to square up a roll. Here I'm just simply truing up the end of the roll to put it back on the drive cardboard. So here's a couple little pieces of masking tape going on to fasten it on, and after it's properly lined up I just simply fasten it with a couple pieces of masking tape as shown and fasten it on each end. Don't want to put too much tape on because if you ever roll off the roll from the spool, if you don't get it shut down in time, you want it so that the paper will pull the tape off and not rip the paper. After getting the paper aligned properly on the spool drive, I start rewinding and find a spot in this particular roll that has some damage done to the one side of the roll. Here I'm taking an X-Acto knife and, while carefully bending the paper back to its original position, place a little small piece of library tape, which is just transparent Scotch tape, and put the mend in position and hold it down so that it's flat. And I keep doing that, repairing all the damaged sections until I have all the section repaired. I then take a piece of tape approximately the same length as the repairs on the opposite side and add that tape on the opposite side, or the left hand side in this case, to the roll, so that the because this is at the beginning of the roll, when it crosses over, then the sum of the two tapes on each side balance each other as far as thickness is concerned. The addition of the tape allows the paper to cross over the tracker holes so that the tracker mechanism will work properly, because if the holes are open, it fools the tracker into thinking that the roll is out of alignment and will react and push the paper back over, causing more tears possibly. I then use the crank in the rewind position from the old original mechanism and start rolling the paper back onto the top spool. It goes fairly slowly while I'm cranking so that I can watch for any minor damages on the way. Here I'm just simply showing the template I made to place over a roll if the leader was damaged beyond repairing the existing one, and I just simply demonstrating here how to cut the taper, and then using tabs and the ring glue another one on, and you've got a roll that is just as good as new. After removing the roll, after this fixes on the sides, and I unwind the roll to let the paper loose so that it will fall and rest against the right-handed shoulder of the drive end. This aligns the paper so that in the future, when it comes off the roll while playing, it remains in the same position so that the tracker can do its job properly. Get all the paper tapped down, and then rewind it back up again just to the point that it squeaks, and that's about the right tension for it to come off the roll. Here I'm giving it a little bit of adjustment, either tightening it or loosening it just a little bit to make sure it's correct, and then take the left hand friction fit spool end, put some masking tape on it to build it up to ensure that it goes in tight and then it will keep the flange away from the paper. I adjust it to about 3/16 of an inch clearance. After checking the clearance on both roll ends, the roll can be put in the box and put away and stored for the next time. This has been Garth McGill demonstrating on how I fix old player piano rolls. Thanks for watching.